all important one which normally every business would be having it. Box 1 is for your standard rated supplies. Make sure it is a supply on which you have charged 5% VAT. You can see there are three columns here, 1, 2 and 3. The first one is the amount. In this you will input all amount relating to your sales and any other output. This is very important. It's not only about sales here. Maybe you have sold some fixed asset, maybe you have sold some scrap, maybe you have supplied anything on which you have charged this VAT. You will input it here. Next one is VAT amount, which is ideally the 5% of it. It will not be automatically calculated here, so you have to input here manually. Box number 3 is if you have any adjustment. Now adjustment means that if you have anything on which you have got some bad debt relief, or you have paid any property VAT, which is like if you have bought a commercial property itself, sold a commercial one. In that case you may have included this VAT here and you will be adjusting it in this box. I'll give you an example. Let's say I have got some sales and my only sale is that I'm selling my commercial office space. Let's say my sale is 1 million, so I'll input it here. On this my output VAT, which I must have charged, is 50,000. Now there is a separate procedure to pay the property VAT, which is separately the buyer would go on the FTA site and pay it. I'll not be receiving it as a supplier, but I have to show it first here, and in this box I will show 50,000 here. So automatically here I'll show it as a payable and here it would be adjusted. So you can see that all these amounts are negative amounts. Same is the case if I have got certain VAT which my client is not paying me and it qualifies as a bad debt adjustment, which means that it has been over 6 months and I have not paid, I have not got paid anything, so I can adjust it here. Okay, these all are emirate wise sale figure as we discussed earlier, but it's all in box A. So you can see that box A, it comprises of all the emirates. Make sure you input the information as per your place of supply. So in case you have got 7 branches, you will input each branch sale separately here. Box number 1, as discussed earlier also, that it would show all VAT which is on standard rated supply. Standard rated supply mean 5% subject to VAT, and I have explained again here that how you have to adjust your bad debts as well as the commercial property VAT. Now the common items which you will be including in your box 1, I have stated it here. You will definitely include, in case if you have sold anything, you have received advance payment, so VAT is also on the advances. But in case if these advances are refundable advances, in that case it will not be shown here. If you have sold through a vending machine, you have supplies of the commercial property, inter-company sale. For example, I have got 4 group companies and we have not been in same VAT group. In that case I'll include it here, else I'll exclude it. So I've just given you all these items here: sale of asset as we discussed earlier, deemed supplies, anything. Okay, this one is important here. If you have made any error and you are now correcting it, which means that in the previous VAT returns, if you have made any error due to which your VAT payable was less and it should be higher by more than 10,000, in this case you will have a separate voluntary disclosure which will be available afterwards. But in case if the error value ultimately ended into an output VAT which is less than 10k, in that case you will not file any separate VAT disclosure. Now in your first VAT return it will not be applicable because it's your first VAT return, so in that case you will have no error. What is excluded from the box 1. Now if you have some sales which were within designated zone, we call them as out of scope supply, that you will not be having here. If you have truly some sales which are out of scope, which means you just, you know, bought something from UK and sold it to India, and goods never entered here in UAE, such supplies are outside the scope and you will not be entering it here. Zero rated supplies are also excluded here. Disbursements are also excluded here, which means that if you have paid any amount on behalf of your client, I'll just give you an idea. Let's say I'm as a, you know, a consultant being hired by someone, and he's saying that please uh, pay my tax registration certificate, you know, fee online. I paid on behalf of it, I'll be getting it from my client. I'll not include it here. But if I'm having a chargeback is in case somebody has hired me, and on his behalf I have traveled and I have stayed in the hotel has billed me, and I have claimed its input VAT. Now I am, you know, charging it to my client. In that case, it, you know, it would be my supply. I'll be charging 5% on it, and afterwards my client can claim it.